Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dani Taylor, co-owner of VeganProteins online coaching, and today I'm going to be teaching you 8 protein hacks I feel like every vegan should know. But before we get into that, if you yourself are a vegan who's looking to build muscle, burn fat, change your body composition, get fitter, go ahead and hit subscribe because we put out new videos every week with tips, tricks, recipes, meal plans, and the like, and I think you're going to like it here. So I have been vegan for 23 years. I went vegan back in 2002, but it wasn't for several years after that that I got into fitness specifically. So up until I was about 19 years old, I had never even considered protein, period. Like I just didn't care. I didn't care about my health at all before I went vegan. And after I went vegan, I learned from others in the community that you don't have to worry about protein. Protein propaganda is just big meat trying to get you to consume more animal products, which there's definitely some truth behind that. But the opposite of that, which many vegans talk about, that you don't need to worry about protein at all, is also not entirely true. So there's gonna be somebody in the comments who's going, actually, I've eaten 12 grams of protein for the last 30 years and I'm perfectly fine. Okay, then I'm not talking to you. But if you are a vegan who is working on your athleticism, trying to get a fitter physique, trying to maintain or even build muscle into old age, protein matters. And we have coached thousands of vegans since 2008. And the number of them that are not paying attention to protein at all, and just that one change completely transforms their physique, even if we did nothing else, is staggering. But I've been vegan for so long that a lot of times I forget that the stuff that I'm about to share with you right now is not just like common knowledge for everybody. So without yammering on any further, let's just get into the hacks. Hack number 1 is TVP. I put out a video at the beginning of the year talking about my 5 favorite protein sources, and TVP was one of them. But since then, I've put out a lot of meal prep videos and recipe videos that use TVP, and someone always asks me what it is in the comments, so I want to explain. TVP stands for textured vegetable protein, and it's these little tiny chunks, although you can get them in bigger chunks or even in nuggets, and they have very, very low fat, usually 0 to 2 grams max, and they have fiber, they have a lot of protein. They're usually made from soy, but you can also find them made from peas. And the reason why this is a hack is because you can consume it so many ways. My absolute favorite hack is that any soup recipe that you have that you already love, you can add TVP to it. So for every cup of TVP that you add to your soup recipe, you're gonna add 2 cups of broth, because this sucks up a lot of liquid. That's how it works. It gets rehydrated, and it's gonna add like sort of a beefy crumble texture to whatever soup that you put it in. But it is such an easy way to not reinvent the wheel if you already have soup recipes that you love. So some other uses for it, people put it on top of their cereal. They use it like granola. I put it in my burritos, which if you haven't seen that video, you should watch it. And so many other things. It travels well because it doesn't need to be refrigerated. All you need is hot water to reconstitute it. Now it tastes like absolutely nothing on its own, so you gotta season it. But because it tastes like nothing, you can season it in so many different ways. People say, where do you find this? So the easiest place to find it is usually gonna be in the baking aisle at your grocery store, in that Bob's Red Mill section. They usually have a bag of TVP by Bob's Red Mill, but you can also buy it online. Anthony's makes one. There's a million different brands online, but if you're just walking into your grocery store, I think that's the easiest way to find it. All right, let's talk about vital wheat gluten. So if you are celiac or you are gluten-free, this is the opposite of what you want. But if you can eat gluten, and I certainly can, vital wheat gluten is incredible. Not only can you make seitan out of it, which some people like to do, some people don't like to do it. I think learning how to make seitan is in and of itself a protein hack. But the real secret that I want to share with you is in just about any baked good, you can replace about 1/3 of the flour with vital wheat gluten without it getting too weird on you. Yes, the texture is a little bit different. It's a little bit chewier, and you have to be careful not to overmix it or you'll activate this gluten too much. But that is a fantastic way to make breads, bagels, pretzels, cakes, cookies, higher in protein. So I've had some success with about 50% vital wheat gluten in certain recipes, but to be on the safer side, I would say do about 30% of the flour as vital wheat gluten instead. Play with it. It might not work for every recipe, but it is definitely worth a shot. And if you love vital wheat gluten as much as I do, try to buy it in bulk. I haven't seen it in a while, but 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐿 and I used to buy a 50-pound bag of this stuff every 6 months or so, and it was so cheap. I'll check and see if it exists today, and if it does, I'll link it down below. But vital wheat gluten is an incredible hack. As is this next one I'm about to show you. Okay, the next one I want to share with you guys is nutritional yeast. And you can see by this, we also buy Nooch in bulk. Nutritional yeast has about 6 to 8 grams of protein per 2 tablespoons, depending on the brand, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're using it to like season your vegetables throughout the day, it definitely does add up. But the real secret here is to use it in dips and sauces. So you can make things like a broccoli cheddar soup using nutritional yeast. You can make a cheese sauce for a macaroni and cheese. And you know, even if you're doubling that 2 tablespoon serving, now you're looking at 12 to 16 grams for that. I would say if you're planning on using it to make dips and sauces where you're using it in larger amounts, maybe don't get the fortified versions because they don't always agree with people in large amounts. I myself have eaten so much nutritional yeast at one time that I gave myself a niacin flush, which basically feels like a giant allergic reaction, even though I'm not allergic to nutritional yeast at all. So when making like bigger recipes with nutritional yeast, I would say steer clear the fortified Nooch. I will also find the best bulk deal for nutritional yeast here, and I will leave that down below. That's not for you. Oh, you're making this really difficult, Xander. Thank you. Thank you for sitting exactly where I need to be. Okay. Ooh. Hack number 2 is edamame puffs. Oh, Xander. Okay. So if you haven't tried these, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I recommend them in every single video. So they're by a company called Smart for Life. You can get them on Amazon, but if you do not like to order things from Amazon, you can also buy direct from Smart for Life. And it comes in this 3-pound bag. It's got 53 servings in the bag. I want to say it's like between $35 and $38 for the bag, but this lasts me almost 2 months. But I eat it every single day. The ingredients on these are edamame protein isolate and rice starch. And that is it. Every serving has 100 calories and 20 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs, and 1/2 gram of fat. And these also kind of taste like nothing on their own. So how do I eat them? I put them on top of my cereal every single day. Every cereal can be a protein cereal with edamame puffs. But I've also used them in my lemon meringue oat parfait that I made for you guys. We used them in the Rice Krispie treat that we made with Ben and Sawyer recently. They are just so versatile. And again, another one that's great for traveling. You saw in my Colorado vlog that I pre-make my cereal with the edamame puffs in Ziploc bags and take them with me when I travel, so I always have the breakfast that I want. I eat cereal for breakfast every morning and start my day off with 50 grams of protein. And I just feel like that's a hack everybody should know. The Wheaties cereal definitely helps, but this adds another 20 grams and another hack that I'll share with you in just a second. Let's talk about tofu. You can cube it, season it, cook it in a stir fry, pop it in your air fryer, have it like little steaks, but that's not actually what I'm talking about. I feel like that one's pretty obvious. But what a lot of people don't know is if you get the water-packed tofu like this, not the super firm tofu like the Hodo I've shared with you in the past, but if you get a firm, medium, soft, or silken tofu, as long as it's water-packed, you can blend it down to turn it into dressings, soups, sauces, desserts, pies that add a super creamy texture to whatever it is that you're making. And you can shock the hell out of people when you let them know that it's tofu. One of my absolute favorite things to do is to make a tofu chocolate mousse pie and bring it to non-vegan events, potlucks, family holidays, etc., etc. And people are always shocked when they find out that it's made out of primarily tofu. So this is a super simple way to sneak protein into different dishes. You can throw tofu in a smoothie instead of a protein powder. Think beyond the cubes, my friends. Okay, the next one that I want to talk to you guys about might seem so obvious, but it is soy milk. I use soy milk in anything that calls for milk. So 𝐬𝐮𝐿 actually prefers this almond milk here. So this is 30 calories, so it definitely wins in the low calorie department, but it has 1 gram of protein in it. And I think it tastes like water. Soy milk, which unfortunately seems to be becoming extinct right now, is the best. So this has 7 grams of protein and it's 80 calories. So again, I have my protein cereal, my edamame puffs, and my soy milk here, giving me a 50 gram of protein breakfast without even thinking about it, without doing any work whatsoever. But any kind of sauce or dip or dressing, or if I'm baking and something calls for a plant milk, I always use soy milk. Now you can definitely get a soy milk that is just soy and water in the ingredients. That's what I use to make my soy Greek yogurt that you guys love so much. But this one is the most common one and I really like it. This was also one of the first things that I ever had when I went vegan. Like it was the first special vegan thing that I ever bought. So I also just prefer it. Don't get me wrong, oat milk, cashew milk, pea milk, all of those things taste really good. But my heart just lives with the OG soy milk here. My next hack is PB2 or powdered peanut butter. Now don't get me wrong, I love peanut butter as much as everybody else. In fact, if you catch me on a particularly bad night, you might find me just sitting at the kitchen table with a spoon and a regular peanut butter jar. But if you love peanut butter flavor, this is such a great way to inject that into so many foods without adding the 16 grams of fat per serving of regular peanut butter. So a serving of PB2, and this is their unflavored one, so the only ingredient is roasted peanuts. This has 1.5 grams of fat, 4 grams of carbs, one of which is fiber, and 6 grams of protein. Now, what can you do with this stuff? You can reconstitute it and use it as regular peanut butter, but actually that's probably my least favorite way to use powdered peanut butter. I like to put it in sauces, put it in baked goods. Like you could make a peanut butter cookie, replacing some of the flour with vital wheat gluten, some of the flour with PB2, and then adding a little bit of regular peanut butter to it as well to give it a super, super peanutty flavor and bumping up the protein content. I've used this at the holidays to make healthy peanut butter balls, which is a family tradition, but I wanted to have them a little bit lower in sugar and higher in protein than the ones that we normally have. I've used it in puddings, pies. I even made a peanut butter fudge one year out of it. This stuff is just so versatile. And PB2 also came out with almond and cashew versions of this too. So if that's more your speed, definitely check it out. They're actually one of the sponsors of the Vegan Strong team. So we have a coupon code with PB2. I'll leave it down below so you can go check them out. And you could try their new protein powder as well, which as I've said, is the only protein powder that I can and will tolerate. Seriously, dude? Let's talk about pasta. This is another super easy hack, very similar to the TVP hack. If you already have a pasta recipe that you love, replace your regular pasta with a protein pasta. So this is Banza. This one's made from chickpeas, but there's some made out of lupini beans. There's some made out of wheat protein. So if you have any pasta dish, they make it in so many different shapes now. You can get lasagna sheets, you can get shells to make stuffed shells and stuff it with a tofu ricotta. You see, if you bring all of these hacks together, you can just absolutely pack your meals with protein if that's something that you want to do. And before we close this video out, I do want to say, is that something that you want to do? I don't want to give the impression that I feel like every single meal that you make needs to be primarily protein and no carbs and no fats, but that's not what I'm saying. When it comes to changing your physique, building muscle, burning body fat, you need to make sure that you have enough protein to support that goal, but beyond that point is not really very helpful. But what I find when a lot of people come to us is they are not eating anywhere near that goal. So go through these tips and pick and choose the ones that make the most sense to you and your diet and your lifestyle and try to incorporate them. And if vegan recipes are something that you are interested in, I'm gonna leave a link down below for a 1-month trial of our Muscles by Brussels membership. And if you're interested in one-on coaching, that's what we do at VeganProteins. That's what we've been doing since 2008. Fill out an assessment below and you'll hear back from one of the coaches within a business day. We'd love to work with you. If you liked the video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, all the things I'm supposed to tell you to do at the end of a YouTube video, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Season it, put it in a stir fryer, pop it in your air fryer. Serve it in a stir fryer? Ugh. It's cat hair floating around. Lovely. Something like a